Hello, my name is Matthew Viergutz, and this is my final project for CCJ314. By the end of this video, I hope to have given you a better understanding of how crime dramas have inaccurately portrayed the duties of crime scene investigators and detectives, almost to the point where it appears as if those duties are done by the same individual. I will also discuss some of the negative effects that this has upon the public. Crime dramas are notorious for not displaying accurate representations of the duties of different law enforcement officials. Throughout my video, I will be focusing on crime scene investigators and detectives. I have chosen 3 different crime dramas, CSI, NCIS, and Law & Order SVU, 2 episodes from each of the series, to help me point out some of the specific inaccuracies that are depicted by these crime dramas. The article by Viergutz, Vandenbalk, Parmentier, called "The Police as Societal Moral Agents: The Prejudicial Justice and the Analysis of Police Fiction," states that NCIS is the most watched scripted TV series in the United States at the moment. Hi, my name is Matthew Viergutz, and I'm doing this project for CCJ314. Would you mind answering a couple questions for me?
Of course.
Okay. What do you personally believe the duties of crime scene investigators are?
When a crime is committed, the place that it is committed would be the scene of the crime. So a crime scene investigator essentially is called in to investigate where and why the crime was committed.
Okay. What do you personally believe the duties of detectives are?
Well, I believe detectives and crime scene investigators are essentially the same thing.
Okay. Where did you get your beliefs about the duties of crime scene investigators and detectives from?
They're all different sources. I mean, obviously the media and how society portrays these two jobs, they're 2 totally different things. I mean, in society they're working to deal with actual legitimate crimes, where through the media, like television, they're dealing with random scenarios that are thrown together.
Okay. What effects do you believe has the media had upon the public about the duties of crime scene investigators and detectives?
I believe it's totally thrown off an honest perspective about what they do in everyday life for their job. I mean, on TV you've got CSI or Law & Order, all these different shows that deal with criminals and criminal activity. So obviously the media is going to portray things that aren't necessarily happening in real life, but they're trying to mimic it or make it seem realistic.
Okay, thank you very much.
Was there any blood spatter from the initial blows?
All the blood spatter was low to the ground and contained in this area.
Means the bone kept hitting him even after he was down.
I found brain matter in the blood pool, and that kid never walked out of this out.
All right, so based on what we have,
I got blood.
Call vote. You're under arrest for the attempted murder of April Reynolds. Detective Moreno, make a decision.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against her in a court of law. right, Director?
Through the course of that episode of CSI, we saw the crime scene investigators starting out, investigating the crime scene and collecting evidence there. Then we see them processing the evidence in the lab. And then we see those same crime scene investigators participating in the arrest of the suspect. That is not accurate in the real world. The crime scene investigator would never partake in the arrest of the suspect. They have no contact with the suspect in any way at all. That is one of the major misrepresentations that CSI as a show depicts to viewers.
Crime scene at a funeral. Can't get much better than this.
Overtime certainly couldn't. He's been dead more than 24 hours.
Any indication what he died from?
No, that's not a trauma. I spoke with Mrs. Bell. She has no idea who the ODB from the casket is.
Okay, thanks. That has got to be the biggest casket I've ever seen.
This is the Elvis model. We're a fat country, Nick.
Here's our proof. Yeah, I don't think they come out of the factory with room for two, though.
No, the extra compartments are custom edition.
This board is what separated the two bodies.
You know?
Well, not really. I already played the chase off the body, and I'm almost done with the coffee here.
Chapel High football coach, huh? Hey, by the way, I'll show you.
Oh, no, what? Don't worry about it.
I always do my best. This is covered.
In the article by Arntfield called TVPD, the Generational Digest of the Police Procedural on American Television, states that as television has increasingly become arbiter rather than the imitator of the outside world, in CSI the squad room is supplemented by the crime lab, and the police machine becomes increasingly dependent on the supremacy of science rather than the efforts of its laborers.
Is this going to hold up in court? It will.
You know what the defense is going to say, right? Who better than a CSI to make a murder look like a frame?
He was framed. And I'll prove it. Listen, Chris, I'm so sorry about all this.
What?
Yeah. You were framed.
One major inaccuracy that was depicted in this show from the television series CSI was that in the end we saw Grissom, who is the team leader, in the interrogation room with CSI Warwick, because CSI Warwick had been a suspect in a murder that we saw earlier in the show. It is totally inaccurate that Grissom's team would be allowed to continue to work the case that one of their own members of the team had been a suspect in that crime. In reality, a different team of CSIs who didn't know that Warwick would have investigated the crime because of bias, because of conflict of interest from knowing Warwick. The article by Arntfield called TVPD, the Generational Digestics of the Police Procedurals on American Television, states that the largely fictitious devices of television now drives the narrative of the world